In 2004, Agina Research Center started researching the ancient tradition of pilgrimage to sacred sites. Kyrgyz people usually call them mazars. The research took place over 2.5 years with the participation of the students from Talas State University and local gardens. Agina Research Center found the locations of 258 mazars in Talas district, met with hundreds of mazar palmers, listened to their life stories, witnessed rituals, and investigated biological diversity surrounding the mazars. The book Mazar Worship in Kyrgyzstan, Rituals and Practitioners in Talas came out as the main outcome of 2 years participatory research. The research has showed mazars are visited by people of different ages, sexes, social status, and ethnicity. The main reason driving people to the sacred sites pilgrimage are health, fertility, well-being, and spiritual needs. There is a strong folk belief among Kyrgyz that certain people are chosen for a spiritual mission, like guarding sacred sites. The health of these people is strongly related to whether they accept or reject their calling. Only those who have accepted their spiritual mission can live a fair and healthy life with the social approval of others. As a rule, the process of recognizing and developing a supernatural gift is based on sacred sites pilgrimage. There are a few rituals which are performed on all sacred sites, such as reading Quran, giving and receiving blessings, performing zikr. There is a special ritual when you are getting in Nyldy Ata gorge. You have to pass through the darbaza stone or the gate. There are 10 holes in darbaza. A visitor should throw stones taken from the ground. There is a legend that even if a single stone gets into a hole, a visitor's wishes will be fulfilled. If no stone gets into the hole, one should not be sad, but come to Nyldy Ata another time with good intentions. Kyrgyz believe that rituals connect a person with the earth, humanity, with the nature. Since we are in Nyldy Ata Sacred Gorge, the main person who should be introduced is the garden Ata cave. He belongs to the group of the gardens which we categorized as shaykhs. The distinctive aspect of shaykhs is an ability to practice traditional healing. There is a particular characteristic of Ata cave. He's an absolutely ordinary person outside of the gorge, but in the gorge he possessed certain extraordinary abilities, such as healing people, helping to solve life problems. I have been guarding Nyldy Ata sacred sites since last 17 years. There are about 23 mazars in the gorge. The person Nyldy Ata lived 30 centuries ago. He was a healer and hero at the same time. Nyldy Ata includes 23 mazars. The stone is called Jarlan Juruk, a broken heart. 11 knights of Nyldy Ata passed away, and they were buried, and when the stone was brought here as a gravestone, it divided into 2 parts. The Nyldy Ata said, "My heart was broken. Those people who were frightened and those who cannot sleep well get cured here. The stone is good for the people with heart problems." The research of Agina in Talas found that there is a close connection between mazar pilgrimage and Kyrgyzchilik, or a Kyrgyz way. Generally, Kyrgyzchilik is a totality of phenomena which makes the Kyrgyz to be Kyrgyz. Talking more clearly, its traditional practices and knowledge of the Kyrgyz people, their customs, beliefs, and worldview. Studies of sacred sites in Talas and Issyk provinces revealed a particular spectrum of phenomena which is called Kyrgyzchilik. This spectrum includes tavukchilik, healing, itemchilik, soothsaying, bubutchilik, bakhshilik, quark-crew shamanism, manaschilik, narration of manas epic, dubanachilik, dervish phenomenon, jaichilik, human influence on weather, kuchuluk, healing, conjuring away, tushchoru, interpretation of dreams, tulgachu, prophecy using subject, shaykhlik, caring for and healing on mazars. Among the people, there is a set opinion that Kyrgyzchalik is taught from generation to generation. People assert if it's not possible to avoid Kyrgyzchalik, one can avoid it only by death. There is a meaning in the depths of Kyrgyzchalik. A person who is alive today has a close connection between past and future lives. Visible and invisible words are persistent. However it is, be tabi, bübü, bakşı, manasçı, duvana, kuğuçu, aytımçı, none of them acts by themselves. All of them get their special quality in different ways and act with the help of high powers. Why are you turning the stones, Moldake? Stones also ask God to give them attention. They ask to be turned them over to let another side see sun and be on light. If mosque mullahs hear that, they will blame us for doing incorrect thing. Well, before giving the Quran, God gave to all of the different peoples their own rituals and life understanding. This action comes from the ancient time. The Creator granted us the understanding of the world, that stones also have the right to get attention and be treated carefully. You are watching now Ajdar Unkur Dragon Cave in Nyldy Ata. It's located 40-50 meters on the flank of the hill. One stone fell and closed the entrance to the cave. According to oral history, a long time ago there used to live a dragon. All of the stories and mysteries connected to mazars are carried by the followers of Kyrgyzchalik. They have the responsibility to keep very old information. Since all of the information is in oral form, it always changes and is supplemented. That is why one mazar might have several different versions of the same story or even different stories. The stories told at mazars are as mysterious and enigmatic as mazars themselves are. In 1954 and 1955 years, gujugu, Kyrgyz national food, would be cooked in the streets. Kyrgyz people were hungry then. All the old women would grind grain, and after eating people would praise the person who prepared delicious food. After we ate, there was a place called Kırkbulak, and it was full of stones. Elders would make us turn 40 stones each. This was done in order to let the stones to see the sun. And next year, stones would be turned outside again. This counted as a good deed. Our New Year celebration is called Nowruz. When we were children, our parents would say, "Make fire and move stones from the mountains." A farther stone will count more as a good deed than a closer stone. If someone turns a stone while outside and lets it see the sun, it will count as a great good deed. Before Quran came into this world, Allah created different nations, each with its own language. Kyrgyz would speak in Kyrgyz, Kazakh in Kazakh, Russian in Russian, and He granted everyone clothing, modes of behavior, worldview, traditions and rituals. These cultural mandates were all passed through ayan, prophetic dream. It didn't matter whether the vision occurred in a dream or in a wakeful state. Allah would give us the information. Healers receive information about herbs and find out what kind of illnesses these herbs cure. Allah gives illness and He gives cures too. Allah did not give cure to two things. One is age and the other one is death. But all other things are given a cure. Most of the sacred sites in Talas are waterfalls and flowing waters. The Kyrgyz people consider water to be sacred, saying there is no evil in flowing water. In the understanding of the people, water is an image of purity, cleanness, and life. In 2006, Agina Research Center researched biodiversity, including water of the following mazars: Arashan, Közbulak, Tamchybulak, Kızbulak, Kochkor Ata, Boğterek, and Kızıltaş. Mazars, as Sharkhatma, were fenced and had a tablet hung in the entrance. Because of the sacred character of the water, numbers of healing rituals are performed exactly next to the springs of these mazars. This ritual is called purification. You pass under Şarkıratma and then go to Közbulak. Notice that there is a green vegetation all around. Look at the area outside the fence and inside of it. The grass is dense inside. Seeds fall and grass grows. This area was fenced by Agina Research Center in 2005. We are very grateful to Agina Research Center for enabling the grass to grow in this area. Dimsalu is one of the rituals which is performed in places with sacred characters. According to Cengiz Moldo, Dimsalu is performed when a person catches cold, has a seizure, or when a person is frightened. These conditions receive healing through reading special prayers. Nyldy Ata conducts ritual of Dimsalu at sacred sites since he believes that it will precipitate the healing process. Cengiz Moldo shared his spiritual experience. He awakes about 2 a.m., reads the Quran, and then something happens. While praying, he gets a seizure and loses consciousness. At that time, angels come to him and take him somewhere with themselves. And there he is taught and gets knowledge, and then his consciousness returns, and he awakens and returns to everyday life. Many pilgrims tell similar, if not exactly the same stories. In psychology, there could be several different explanations of such a phenomenon. Two of them will be noted. The first is the psychiatric perspective, and the second is the explanation of the transpersonal psychologist Stanislav Grof. In the psychiatric perspective, Cengiz Moldo's condition is an illness. In Grof's theory, this is the altered state of consciousness, and it's not classified as an illness. On the contrary, this condition could be considered as the gift. In such a condition, a person is able to understand things which he does not usually understand. The fact that Cengiz Moldo has been helping many people who drink alcohol in excess and use drugs. He took the responsibility of Mazar Garden, who has a direct connection with the supernatural through his special condition at night. It's good to pay attention to this aspect of the situation. Life is always difficult, it seems. When a person comes to a mazar, he or she gets rid of the problems and issues of everyday life and becomes involved in a different spiritual domain of reality. Mazar pilgrimage is closely connected with the concepts of qasiyet, miracle, and kerimet, wonder. Some visitors say that they come to sacred places without any specific purpose. Something makes me come here. My legs bring me here themselves. My soul feels a big relief here. One of the visitors, 44-year-old, noted that the mazar is a gift of God to humans. God cannot be seen, but one can see a sacred place. The garden of Manas Ordo Marita, 51 years old, is sure that there is a concentrated forces at mazars that can reveal the secrets of the universe. The spiritual need to recognize and experience miracle and wonder leads people to sacred sites. What is a mazar pilgrimage? It's a sacred journey from one mazar to another to give honor to Allah and to seek Allah's healing and behavior. It's a phenomenon which continues to exist from ancient times until today. It's an influential and stable phenomenon which is an appropriate subject for research and analysis. Many people ask whether the mazar pilgrimage is really helpful. Generally, it's positive, but we have to clarify whom it helps and how. It's not possible to say that everyone who comes to a mazar gets cured. The same could be said about a visit to a medical doctor. Not everyone who goes to them gets cured. If a person comes to a mazar without doubt and with pure belief, then it's fully possible that a person finds relief there. Shaykhs, people with special abilities, act as mediators between disease and treatment. It's the same with professional doctors and psychiatrists. After 2.5 years of research, mazars, and things related to them, it's obvious that there are similarities between psychological advising services and what the healers and the gardens practice in mazar. When people go to the mazars after performing certain rituals, they make tea from the mazar water and eat food, and while drinking the tea or in any other convenient circumstance, they start talking. What is special here is that mazars pilgrims usually talk about their spiritual search and spiritual things. Nyldy Ata Mazar, which consists of 23 sacred sites, is located in the gorge called Çongtuyuk and Kichituyuk at the foot of Echkili Mountains. According to the story of Cengiz Moldo, Nyldy Ata lived before the prophet Noah. Nyldy Ata never married, and he was a traditional healer and cured people from different illnesses, and he prepared about 30 followers, shakirs. When he was about 60 years old, his friends told him, "You must leave a childhood behind," and suggested that he marry his friend's daughter, who was 15 years old. Nyldy Ata refused and responded, "What is going to happen if I marry? Your names are going to exist for a century, but mine will be alive for centuries." In general, whatever the story is, it's a reality that now we are sitting in a place where ancient culture is pursuing its life. And such a place's everyday thing do not come to one's mind, rather thoughts directed to eternity. When the Quran is read in mazars, first of all, not only one person's well-being is asked from God, but also the whole nation's and society's prosperity, peace, fertility, and good life is asked. Not only one's grandfathers or great-grandfathers, but all the ancestors' heritage is shown respect, and the future of this heritage makes us concerned. We witness rituals in Nyldy Ata, activities of old men and ladies, and noted the fact that the shaykh of the mazar comes to the strange place every day, leaving his daily burdens and walking the long distance of 2 kilometers. The reality is that people visit mazars and they get cured. We are finishing our pilgrimage at the sacred gorge Nyldy Ata. As has been seen, when people come to the mazars after performing certain rituals, they make tea from the mazar water and eat food, and while drinking tea or in any convenient circumstance, they talk. What is special here is that mazars pilgrims usually talk about their spiritual search and spiritual things. Difficulties which one faced just yesterday and predicaments of everyday life are forgotten in such places. In the mazars, there are children, the next generation of the Kyrgyz, sitting, listening, and keeping in mind the long conversation of elders. It's a very traditional Kyrgyz way to transmit knowledge and information.